Hi, first graders. Welcome to writing. This will be our last writing lesson video for the year. Today, I am going to go over the last couple of pages of our first grade memory book, and then we are going to look at some examples of different types of writing that you can do over the summer. We are on our last two pages of our memory book. The first one is called Lunch. It says, let's eat. Yum, 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 yum. Foods I eat for lunch at school. So this could just be a picture of what you normally eat at school. Our class eats lunch at, and we ate lunch as a first grade class at 10:45. What I usually do for lunch is, so you could write a little bit about what you normally eat for lunch, if you normally eat lunch from the school cafeteria or if you bring it from home. And here says who I usually sit with is. So who do you normally sit with at lunch? And I know first graders, you sat with lots of people and didn't always sit with the same people, but you could write some names of people that you like to sit with at lunch. And finally, it says, my feelings about the cafeteria food. So if you ate lunch from the cafeteria, from Mr. High, you could talk about things that you liked that you got to eat, or things that you didn't like that you ate from our cafeteria. So that is this page, all about lunch. Let's look at the last page. The very last page says, special events only first graders get to do. There are some things in first grade that nobody else in the school gets to do. Here's a list of a few. So you could think about special things that we did in first grade. Something that comes to mind for me is the field trips that we went on. And usually the field trips that we go on in first grade, no other grade goes on. So we went to the Seattle Aquarium. We went to the Seattle Children's Theater. And then you can think about other things that you get to do as a first grader. For me, the most important first grade event was. So, what was something that happened at school that was very important to you? It could be something that happened during school, or if you ever came back to school in the evening or nighttime for an event. And then it says, let me tell you about it. So, whatever you remember, and again, if it was the Seattle Children's Theater, let me tell you about it. You could write a sentence about what you remember about that field trip. And then in this picture, so in the middle here, you could draw a picture of this important event. Some other thoughts that I have, or it could be an assembly that you remember, or something that happened at recess. There are lots of cool special events that you get to do as first graders. Finally, on the very back, it just says year and school. So you were in first grade in 2019 and 2020, or 2019 and 2020. That was the school year that you were in first grade. And our school is Graham Hill. So you can go ahead and work through that first grade memory book. And now let's talk about some of the ways that you can keep writing over the summer. And we are so proud of how you've grown as writers. At the beginning of the year, you were writing stories that were 1, 2, 3 sentences long. And now you're filling up pages with your stories. The way that you were able to grow so much in your writing is by practicing and working hard. We wrote a little bit every day during first grade, and that helped you grow. We want to make sure that you continue to grow in your writing as you get ready for second grade. And so we are inviting you to think about the ways that you could write just a little bit every day during the summer so that you can continue to grow as a writer. Let's look at some ways. There's so many ways you can do this. It doesn't have to be sitting down and writing a story. There are lots and lots of ways to do a little bit of writing. Let's look at some of the ways that we thought of. One way that you can do a little bit of writing every day is by keeping a journal. And when you keep a journal over the summer, you can write something that you did that day. It could be pretty simple, and you could write something like, today and then I saw, or I heard, or I learned, and maybe I felt. So, in 3 or 4 sentences, you could keep a little bit of a reminder of what you do each day over the summer. Another great way to keep writing over the summer is to make your own comics. Here are some examples of some comics that students about your age made. And notice that some of them have a lot of words, some of them only have a few words, but what these students are doing is they are thinking about telling a story, and they're telling their stories through pictures and words, and that is a great way to keep practicing your writing over the summer. If you are drawing, the other thing to do to write a little bit every day is just to write a sentence that describes your drawing. So even this one drawing of pizza, and it says, I like pizza, that is not a huge amount of writing, but it's a way to just make sure that you are practicing a little bit. You could add, because you are big second graders now, you could add because, or I like pizza and my favorite kind is. But just describing your drawings with a sentence or two is a great way to practice writing. And finally, I thought about lists. There are lots of lists that the adults in your home probably make. And one of them is maybe a grocery list. So if you have an adult in your home who's going to the grocery store, you could offer to write the list for them. Again, this is not a big story, and it doesn't need to take a lot of time, but it's a way that you could just practice writing down words for a few minutes every day. All right, first graders, it has been really fun doing writing with you over the past few months. I hope that you have enjoyed working on your first grade memory books, and hopefully we will see you on Friday. If you are able to stop by, say hello, and grab a popsicle. Talk to you soon.